What's up, Facebook family, human family, social media family, and the 7.5 billion people on this magnificent planet? Hope that your day is well. Hope that your dreams and goals are being fulfilled. And I'm hoping that, that we all get a grasp on this thing called life. Electric word, life, it means forever, and that's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you, there's something else. The afterworld. It's a few lines from Prince. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes to talk about the gravity of loss. And the loss that I speak of is departing from the planet. And I have my own personal thing that I deal with when I'm dealing with that, just like everybody else in the world. It's something that no human being is ever prepared for, but it's something that we're all going to go through. I think I've said to you all time and time again the story about me losing my mom. Because it was totally unexpected for me at that time, it really made me look at myself. And I'm going to tell you something that I did once I knew that my mom had departed from the planet. It sounds kind of silly, but it revealed some things to me. But first, let me just talk about one of my homeboys I grew up. We called him Sly. When we was at Alabama State University, I went to the Student Union Center because most of the time when we leave home, we all meet up in there to have a conversation about the life, look at all the pretty girls and talk about what we're going to do. And when I got to the Student Union, they told me that he had gone home. And it was very sudden that he had gone home, and they said his mom had passed away. And when I heard that, my heart kind of sank and I froze. And I knew that life at that point was going to be different for him. And I knew that it had already been different for me because back then my great-grandmother had passed away, maybe when I was young, but those feelings come back. And when I saw him, he was like despondent and not really connected, but because that was his mom, that was the person that brought him up and taught him everything that he knows. And you bounce back because you have to go on. And those feelings, when you think about it, no matter what age you are, they always come back. Well, fast forward to me, and my mother had fallen ill as well, unexpectedly to me, totally floored me. I didn't know exactly what to make of it. And the thing about this is, my mom called me and she said, no need to worry. You don't have to come back down because you've already been here and I'll be okay. I said, I could come back if you want me to. She said, nah, it's okay. If we need you, we'll call you. And I laid down, I felt pretty confident at that point, but my mind, you know how your mind danced with you a little bit. And we talked about the dreams that I had, the goals that I had set for myself, and the fact that everything I did, I did with her in mind. And she said, I know that, son. I wouldn't expect anything less. And she said, you're going to make it. And I said, well, thank you, ma'am, and you're going to see me make it. Well, a couple of days after that, but before that, I told her how much I loved her, how much everything that I tried to do was to make life a little bit easier for you. And I know there's a lot of young men and young women out there that have their parent or parents to raise them, and they just want to do the best that they can for them because, after all, you saw the struggle and sacrifice that they made for you. Well, the day was January the 1st, 2000. I'll never forget it. My sister called me, and she said that I just wanted to call you and let you know that our mother was gone. She just broke down crying over the phone. And I just laid across the bed and I I got up for a moment, just for a brief moment, and the strangest thing happened. I walked out and I just wanted to see whether or not life had stopped, because I was in so much pain. I wondered whether life has stopped. What I mean by stopped, I'm talking about the rising and the setting of the sun, the flying of the birds, the people that are in their cars, and the clouds, all those crazy things that are I don't think that some people think about. But at that moment, when my brain just became clouded with disillusion and not feeling adequate to be able to challenge myself anymore, I kind of went through my lull. And I think that life does that. And I remember my mom telling me that, son, nobody lives forever. When you're a kid, you don't really grasp that concept, because you don't understand what that means. It's like you just grow and you live, and you understand that you're going to mature into something. The shorter version of it was when I realized that all the people that I cared about, they had passed away. And then when she passed away, by this time I'm much older, and then I realized that there's nothing permanent on the planet. And the feelings and the love and the cherished moments that I had with her, they're all resident in my memory. And a lot of times people wonder, where did the time go? And a lot of people think about themselves and what it actually means. And now I look at it, understand it's a process, but then here's the strangest thing about it. When I went to my mom's funeral and I got a chance to look at her body, I said to myself, well, where is she? The voice is no longer there, but I see this vessel. And then I began to think, and I know like sometimes deep enough we all think about this. It's like, where do you come from? Like really and truly, where do you come from? When you get older, you know, you can touch flesh and bone, and you think that that's you, right? You touching flesh and bone from the time you're born until the time you depart. And you think that this is really you, right? Because of the pains, the joys, the frustrations you have, and the things that make you sick, you eat too much, you work too hard, or you think that that's you. But when you have rested the body and the mind, and you've thought about things, when you depart, where do you go, right? Where do you go? There's people in religious studies, and there's people that are spiritualists, and there's people that are philosophers that try to offer you a healthy perspective as to what they think it might be. But my question to you is, where do you go? You come from somewhere that you know not, and they call it the unknown. You exist somewhere, which is what you know, which is the known, which is these moments that we have currently. But when you expire, where do you go? It can't be known, because if it was known, then everything that we think about would be forever. But where do you go? I mean, that's the question that I think every human being lives with, the ebbs and flow of being human. And we all got to challenge ourselves. And the main thing about challenging yourself is, I was listening to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and he paid a tribute to Kobe Bryant. And the clip that he played for Kobe Bryant is, and Kobe was talking about when he was in high school, and that he was talking about he was always curious, he wanted to learn, and he wanted to challenge himself. And if I remember correctly, he said that his counselor told him not to think too much about this basketball thing. He need to give it up, and that it wouldn't amount to anything. And Kobe said when that negative statement came from his mouth, that made him want to work harder to prove that what he wanted could be made manifest. And that simply meant to me is that Kobe was a hard-working dude, man. Everything that he got off pure hard work and drive and intensity. And it always goes back, there's always naysayers in your life. And what he was saying is, like, even if you got the naysayers, you still got to do what makes you happy. You got to be able to chase those goals, chase those dreams, and elevate your mind to being able to accomplish anything that you want. In my case, I didn't get to really rise to that level of the work ethic that Kobe had, because I lost my mom along the way trying to chase my journey. But I was given an alternative to make that kind of make sense to me. But if you're trying to do anything, if you're trying to say anything, you got to make sure that your life is the testimony that you want it to be. You can't sit in poverty mentally all the time when you want to accomplish great things. The time that we have indicates that the clock is ticking, and it will not stop ticking for the universe in and of itself. But you will reach a physical exhaustion point. And hopefully that's like 1,000 years for every human being on this planet, including myself. But you got to make sure that within those 1,000 years, that the goals that you set out to accomplish, that you get to do them. Because that place that you go to can never come back to this body that it was once in. So challenge yourself, my friends, on this day. Challenge yourself every day. Wake up and rise and realize that this time, this moment, is meant for you to accomplish the very thing that you want. And I can't speak for the rest of the world, because I'm not in the rest of the world, but in America, I say this all the time, and I keep saying, you can do or be whatever you want. You just got to choose, you got to focus, and you got to pursue. Up and down the ladder of success you go. You can pursue anything that you feel in your heart that you want to chase. And if you chase it, and you make it, and you fulfill it, then you reach back and help someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just the cycle of life. That's just something I just wanted to share with you from my heart. And if you like this, share this, leave comments if you want. But just know that today is the most valuable day we have, because this is the day that we can add value to our lives, to the people around us, and to show appreciation for that which is divine. Once again, have a great day, my friends. Peace.